the Israel situation is unfolding second by second, minute by minute. It really is incredible. And there's some different things coming out from Yahoo News. I got some articles here just talking about the surprise that Iran had. Just U.S. intelligence saying Iran was surprised by the Hamas attack on Israel. Again, we talked a lot about propaganda this week. We talked a lot about making sure that you're cutting through the fog of war. And, at the end of the day, there's a high chance that if you just shut everything off, all the tablets, all the screens, the phones, everything, your life would be a lot more peaceful, a lot more pleasant, just everything would be. And that's not to say you're putting your head in the sand. And that's not really what this video is about necessarily either, but it's making sure we're taking care of ourself, putting our mask on first, taking care of our family before you have the log in our eye instead of worrying about the splinter in someone else's eye, and worrying about what Iran did. I'm the first person that wants to. I was a person that wanted to be a Navy SEAL or a fighter pilot my entire life. Military buff, playing flight simulators as a kid, things like that. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that the military and a lot of these shenanigans that go on, and I don't mean that lightly, but a lot of this crazy stuff that's going on in the world we see right now, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Israel, unfortunately, or Afghanistan, Iraq, the things that we've just in the last 20 years, just a century, a lot of these things are ways that people can enrich themselves, and we have to be open to that being a possibility. Not saying all of them are, or all of them, or some of them were, or some of them aren't, but they could be potentially. And you see people like Nikki Haley out there screaming from the rooftops, and other presidential candidates on the Republican side saying, we need to go to war, we need more funding, we need this and that. We don't have any cash, guys. I don't know if that's a newsflash to every politician, probably is, but we don't have cash. We just added like $500 billion in debt just in the last couple weeks or last month or so. What are we doing? The whole market cap of Bitcoin is just added to the national debt. And therein lies a lot of the problem. A lot of the revolving door politics of Lloyd Austin, who was on the board of these different military contractors, and now he's the defense secretary, and on and on and on. This goes on. Back to the Bushes, back to just for decades, people enriching themselves through war and through violence. And again, I'm not trying to conflate everything, but we have to be very careful. We have to, with a keen eye as to what's going on. There seems to be many things through the fog of war, right? Did Iran know? Did they not know? And again, we can't. I can't sit here and pontificate, and I can read 100 articles, I can read 1,000 pages, and we're still not going to necessarily know what's going on. I think that's where, at times, you just have to kind of stand back and say, "Whoa, we need to pull funding and pull from all of these things." I used to be a person thinking we needed to patrol the seas all around the world and spend all of our money just trying to make sure the world was a safe place. Is that our job to do that? I'm not so sure anymore. Again, in a fiat world, when you're trying to protect the dollar, our standard of life, the world reserve currency, then yeah, it probably was. But in a world of, instead of a debt-based world with the dollar, but if you're in an equity-based world with an equity-based money, a neutral money that captures deflation, a lot of that stuff is nonsensical. It's not even needed. I tweeted out earlier, if you hold Bitcoin, you can just shut your screen off. Period. End of story. And as brazen as that might sound, a lot of these conversations can't be had anymore, or don't happen. A lot of these thoughts that I have, or other people I know have, they just, for years we haven't had these conversations because it was not politically correct, or someone was going to look at you wrong, or someone had an emotional reaction, they were triggered by it. And we have to start having these conversations, because clearly the PC world, the woke world, the world where people don't say anything that hurts each other's feelings, that world ain't working. No one can point to anything and say, this is working well, Brandon. This is really working well. We need to cut to the chase. We need to be accountable for what we are doing. We need to find truth. We need to not only accept truth or deny truth, but we need to submit to truth. And that is the problem. Bitcoin is the only truth that I know, other than the God, and then you've got the money, And when those two things fall, God falls and the money falls, everything else crumbles beneath it. Every empire has shown us that. If you want to talk about truth and history and facts, there you go. You get rid of religion, you get rid of truth, you get rid of absolute truth, and treating each other with respect and kindness and humility and accountability, and then the money goes pretty quickly after that, and then everything goes. And we're in that world. We've done exactly that in the last 100 years in America, starting, probably around 1902-ish, somewhere in that area of we changed the education system to being a world of, as Rockefeller said, a nation of doers, not thinkers. And then we started just messing with our faith. And being a Judeo-Christian country, which is inarguable, that if you read the Founding Fathers and all their journals, their documents to each other, it's very clear for anyone that can read that we are a Judeo-Christian nation. And those values have been under attack for 100 years, 100 plus years, 120, 130 years. Been under complete attack, again documented, videos, pictures, many written words attacking that very structure, the nuclear family, the nuclear, just on and on and on, right? This is the war we're in. You might not like war, but war likes you. And we are being attacked from all sides with information war, bio war, actual war, kinetic war, misinformation wars, cultural wars, and it's attacking the very structure, the very essence of who we are as human beings. And if we don't understand this is a fight of good versus evil, then we're going to lose. We will lose. And we have the leader of the free world here apparently weighing freezing of the $6 billion for Iran after Hamas attacks Israel. It's too late now. Refreezing the $6 billion. Okay. Again, the problem is no one knows what's actually going on, right? And my problem with a lot of these things, whether it's blowing up the pipeline in the Black Sea or the money or the attacks, what's actually going on, the problem is none of us know what's going on. Truly, very few of us are actually there, right? Only a microscopic percent of people actually know the truth in any of these regions and any of the things that are going on, right? We want to believe that they're going on. Again, check the video we just did about the 10 things I do to uncover truth and deception. But we don't know. We really don't know what's actually happening, and none of us are there to confirm what's happening. We all go off emotion, and I think number 6 or 7 in the list there was trying not to engage in sensationalism or emotional rhetoric and taking a step back. The old Abraham Lincoln thing of writing the letter and then putting it up in the little cubby hole and then thinking about it. We tend to make so many emotional decisions, and that's what, unfortunately, bad people want us to do. They want us to make emotional decisions and be emotional about stuff so that we make bad decisions. When emotions go up, intelligence goes down, as Robert Kiyosaki says. So we have to take a step back. We have to... that's why the Founding Fathers, again, created a country where there was the separation of powers and there was division, where it wasn't easy to get things done. It had to take a while. That way people weren't emotional, and then people could actually think logically through things. And we just, because unfortunately there's the good and bad of social media. The good is that we get to know what's going on for the most part around the world. We get to communicate with each other. That's the big thing. We get to communicate with each other, decentralized media. But the bad thing is people can make rash decisions emotionally because we're seeing things in real time, and then they go yell at their senator or representative or whatever it might be. We make rash decisions at times, and hopefully the political process is supposed to slow that down. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But this is the world we find ourselves in because of a broken monetary system, through and through. People can argue with me about God and lacking humility and respect and accountability, things of that nature. I don't think it's arguable. People can argue it, but the money is something that is here, for sure is here, obviously. It's the money, it's here, we have it, and we've broken it. We have 110 years of breaking the money. And the history of central banking has coincided with the history of worldwide war, total war, the biggest wars the world has ever seen. Why is that? Again, war is very profitable. War is very profitable. It's very profitable for the people at the top. They get to send their kids off to the best schools, and they get to send everyone else's kids to war. They get to profit. They're the ones in power. They get to profit. They launder the money. They grift. They graft. They rent seek. And they own the companies. They're on the company's boards, whatever it may be. And this is a story as old as time. And it's going to continue. It's going to continue. So I hope and pray that these things resolve. And there are smart people that can lower their emotions and have their intelligence increase again. And we can get this world back into order. But that's the state of life as well. I talked about the book of Esther. and the call for violence that is tomorrow, Friday, October 13th. That was in the book of Esther as well. Mordecai was telling Esther, hey, you've become the queen now for a reason, for the Persian king. And you need to tell him to, because Mordecai wouldn't bend his knee to Haman, who was a second in command. And Haman told the king, hey, you need to let us kill all the Jews. And he said, okay, that's fine. Well, Esther outed him. The king had Haman killed. And he gave everything of Haman's to Mordecai and said, hey, you know what? Now you can have all this stuff that Mordecai had, or that Haman had, and now you can send out a new order that says the Jews can protect themselves on this day. And so it was. And the Jews protected themselves and took out all the attackers. And it's, that was 3,000 years ago. It's the same thing happening today. How have we not learned the same the lessons over time? And it just goes back to, man, are we being tested? Are we being tested? Because you feel like we'd be beyond 3,000 years ago, but we're not. I mean, the literal book in the Bible from 3,000 years ago talking about this very thing. And it, give or take, could have been 2,500 years ago, could have been 3,500 years ago, but we literally have not changed. So what are we doing? We have all the information, technology to be able to do these things, but when the money is corrupted, when you lose humility and accountability, and then you corrupt the money, and it incentivizes all the worst people in the world to be in the positions of power and do the worst imaginable things to the people around them, especially these last 300 or 400 years, when you have very few at the top with fake money, fake currency, siphoning it all from the people, you tend to get crazy outcomes, and we're living through it now. So things are going to get worse before they get better. We've talked about this for a while as well. Get prepared. Bitcoin, a little bit of gold and silver, water, food, energy, security, ammo, firearms, get some land, and most importantly, community. Build the people up around you that are like-minded, because we are entering a crazy time. And if we don't believe it now, then hopefully believe it the next thing that happens, because it's going to get worse before it gets better. But there is great hope on the backside. So I appreciate you. Please share this out. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know your thoughts and kind of how you're seeing the situation as well. And please share it out, because the algorithm hates truth. Question everything with boldness. Question everything I'm saying. Trust but verify. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.